For most of software's history, one thing slowed every team down: writing the code, getting it correct, getting it to compile. That was the wall. Then AI moved the wall. Developers using AI merge almost double the pull requests and complete about a fifth more tasks. The writing got fast. So teams should be shipping faster and calmer. Most aren't. The work didn't vanish when the typing sped up. It moved, and most teams haven't noticed where. Speed up one stage of a pipeline, and you don't remove the constraint. You hand it to whatever the next slowest stage already was. So where did the work go? How big is the new constraint? And what do the best teams do differently? Measured, not guessed. Let's start with the numbers. Welcome to AI TechBook. Today, when AI writes more code, who reviews it, and why that one question decides whether your team actually ships faster. Start with the part everyone agrees on. The writing got faster, and we can measure it from production telemetry, not a vendor's ad. Pharos AI looked at more than 10,000 developers. Developers using AI merged about 98% more pull requests and completed roughly 21% more tasks. That's the honest version of AI writes more code, measured output, clearly up. And the catchy single percentage. The headline, "Share of code written by AI figures are a family of vendor estimates, all measuring different things." Not one fact. Now notice what the honest numbers count. Pull requests merged, tasks done. Volume, exactly what AI inflates easiest and what a dashboard loves to celebrate. Hold that thought. Output going up tells you the writing station sped up. It says nothing about whether the line got faster. And every extra pull request still has to be reviewed by a human. Watch what happens to review when the volume doubles. Here's where the work went. Pour double the pull requests into a review process that didn't change, and one thing has to give: the time each one waits for a human. The same telemetry that showed output rising showed review time rising with it. In the 2025 data, review time grew about 91%. In the larger 2026 study, 22,000 developers, median review time grew up to fivefold, moving from low to high AI adoption. Google's Dora research put it plainly: code generation is not the bottleneck to shipping reliable software. Speed up the writing, and the constraint just moves downstream to review. This is the reframe the whole episode turns on. The real limit was never the typing. It's the judgment deciding whether the code is right. AI is brilliant at the first and can't yet do the second for you. So review is no longer a formality at the end. For an AI-assisted team, review I is the throughput limit. Whatever your review capacity is, that's your real shipping speed. The bottleneck moved. It didn't disappear. And the most natural way to relieve that pressure is also the most dangerous move you can make. When the queue backs up, there's an obvious release valve. Let's see what it costs. Queue backed up, deadline looming. What do teams reach for? The release valve right next to the constraint. Just merge it. Skip the review. In the 2026 data, about 31% more pull requests merged with no review at all. And the cost showed up exactly where you'd expect: downstream. The incident rate more than tripled relative to the low AI baseline. Bugs per developer rose by roughly half. Code churn, lines rewritten right after they're committed, climbed sharply. Same telemetry. Same teams. So watch the trap close. Skipping review doesn't delete the work. It converts a review bottleneck into a production incident one. And the tell is brutal. Your review time number improves while your incident rate gets worse. You didn't remove the queue. You moved it to production. Which is why we got review time down is dangerous to celebrate alone. If incidents, bugs, and unreviewed merges aren't on the same dashboard as review time, you're watching the accelerator and ignoring the brakes. So skipping review is out. Teams try the obvious fixes instead, and the three most obvious each fail for a measurable reason. 3 fixes feel obvious the moment review becomes the constraint. Each one is wrong, and we can say why with data, not opinion. Fix 1, review faster, or hire more reviewers. The problem is what AI code is hardest to review. The top developer frustration, 66%, is code that's almost right, but not quite. That almost right is the most expensive thing a human can review, not the least. About 45% say debugging AI code takes longer than writing it themselves. You can't outstaff a cognitive tax. Fix 2, just trust the AI. But only about a third of developers trust the accuracy of AI output. Nearly half actively distrust it, and distrust went up year over year. Rubber stamping doesn't remove the work. It ships it straight to your incident channel. Fix 3, we feel faster. So we are. A randomized controlled trial by METR put experienced developers on their own mature code bases. They believed they were about 20% faster with AI. They were actually about 19% slower. Now, that's a specific 2025 finding on experienced developers in mature repositories, not a universal law, and METAR itself flagged it for newer tools. But the lesson survives. How fast you feel is not how fast you are. See the pattern? Every fix tries to make the same review faster or skip it. None changes what's actually being reviewed. The real fix isn't reviewing faster, it's changing what's on the reviewer's screen, so the judgment is smaller and sharper. So what's the highest leverage change to that unit of review? It starts with the size of the thing you ask a human to look at. Here's the move. The highest leverage fix isn't a tool, it's the size of the change you put in front of a reviewer. A study of AI-generated pull requests found nearly 40% of them combined multiple unrelated tasks into one change, and too large was a top reason reviews got rejected. Large, multi-purpose pull requests are the single biggest review time tax. Here's why size is the whole game. Open a small, single-purpose change, and a reviewer can hold the whole thing in their head, reason about intent, give a real verdict. Open a giant mixed diff and they skim, rubber stamping wearing a serious face. So watch the fix land, one purpose per pull request. Take this if you take nothing else. Small pull requests don't just review faster, they review honestly. The size of the diff sets the ceiling on the judgment. Past a certain size, thorough review stops being physically possible, and looks good to me is all that's left. And AI makes this easy. Ask the model to break the work into independent, single-purpose changes up front. The same tool that floods you with volume can hand it over in reviewable pieces. That fixes the size of the judgment. Now the second move, making sure humans only spend it on what a machine can't check. So what should a human review? Let's draw the line. Now the division of labor, most of what a human spends review time on, a machine should have caught first. The practitioner consensus, from teams at Salesforce and others at scale, is to push every mechanical check into automation. Linting, formatting, style, security, coverage become automated gates in your build pipeline, not things a human scans for. That frees human review for the one thing automation can't do, judge intent and architectural fit. Is this the right change in the right place, solving the right problem? Then the load-bearing gate, behavioral correctness. Treat your tests and regression evaluations as a merge gate. So, does this actually work is answered by automation, not hoped about in review. Google's DORA research is blunt, strong automated testing, mature version control, and fast feedback loops are what stops AI volume from turning into instability. AI amplifies whatever control system you already had. A weak one, just louder. But watch for the trap inside the fix, evil theater. Green checks that test nothing load-bearing, tautological tests, coverage gained by trivial assertions, no real regression evaluations. Green that means nothing is more dangerous than red because it grants permission to stop looking. So the standard is simple. A human should only spend judgment on what the machine cannot decide. Everything mechanical, everything testable, gated automatically before review. Humans judge intent, machines judge mechanics. Two pieces left, getting each change to the right human and where AI fits in reviewing AI's code. Let's close the loop. Even with small pull requests and machine gates, volume still has to land on the right desk, fast, and not all of it has to start with a human. 3 moves keep throughput bounded as volume rises. First, ownership routing, send each change to the human who owns that area automatically instead of letting it sit in a shared pile. Second, review turnaround targets and a merge queue, set an expected first response time and serialize merges so the main branch stays green. Third, AI-assisted review as a first pass filter, let an agent triage and flag the obvious, so the human starts from a short list, not a blank diff. But the studies of these review agents carry one firm warning, triage, not verdict. The AI surfaces candidates and context. The human still owns the decision, and invests upfront in clear specs, because clarity at the start shrinks review load at the end. So watch it run. Pull requests flow to the right owners. The queue serializes, and the AI first pass hands a tidy summary to a human who makes the call. That node is capped on purpose, it can flag and suggest, it cannot merge. AI triages. The human decides. None of this is exotic. It's just treating review as a real capacity you design for, with owners, limits, and gates. Put it together, and one question tells you whether a team got it right. And it has nothing to do with how much code they ship. Step back to the whole picture. So who actually wins as AI writes more and more of the code? Not who you'd guess. The teams that win aren't the ones generating the most code. They're the ones whose review and verification capacity scaled with their generation capacity. When those two curves rise together, AI is pure leverage. When generation races ahead and verification stays flat, the gap fills with exactly what we measured: incidents, churn, rework, distrust. Watch the curves resolve. Code generation is solved. It's cheap, fast, and getting cheaper. The scarce thing, the moat, is the capacity to decide, at volume, whether what was generated is actually right. Volume is solved. Judgment is the moat. The bottleneck moved, it didn't disappear, which means who reviews the AI's code isn't an afterthought to your AI rollout. It IS the strategy. Your verification capacity is the ceiling on how much of AI speed you can safely keep. That's not bureaucracy. It's the brake that lets you keep your foot on the gas. Let's lock it in with the 4 moves you can apply Monday morning. 4 moves. Apply them Monday, and your review capacity scales with your output. 1. Keep pull requests small and single purpose. The highest leverage change, and it makes everything else work. 2. Push every mechanical and behavioral check into automation, with real evaluations as the merge gate, not evil theater. 3. Route each change to its owner. Set turnaround targets, serialize merges. 4. Use AI to triage, never for the final verdict. The human keeps the judgment. Each move removes review work that never needed a human, so judgment lands only where it's irreplaceable. Do these, and the bottleneck stops being a crisis and becomes a capacity you designed for. Scale verification with generation. That's the playbook. If it helped, the outro has one ask, and what's next? Thanks for watching. If reviewing AI's code is the bottleneck on your team, share this with the one person who owns it. And subscribe to AI TechBook for what's next.